Now, here's the thing that is happening that is not funny, but I'm going to tell you anyway, and I'm going to try to make light of it, even though it's not funny at all. Okay. When I drive, my eyes want to close. I'm going to repeat that because I'm saying it the way I'm saying it very deliberately. When I drive, my eyes want to close. Now you're saying, Dan, what do you mean you fall asleep at the wheel? No, I don't. It's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I fall asleep at the wheel. I'm saying when I drive, my eyes want to close. Well, Dan, you must be tired. You're thinking, like, why? Maybe have some caffeine or something in the morning before you get in the car and you start driving around, and then your eyes won't want to close. To which I respond, no, you don't understand. Though it's not sleepiness. My eyes want to close. Now, I don't remember when this started. It just sort of started. It's been a while now. It's probably been a year. I don't know. Listen, I'm a mental case. I don't know how long ago anything was. You know what I mean? It could have been a week ago. It could have been a year ago. It could have been 6 years ago by now. It's probably a year. Oh my God. Basically, I've been driving around with one eye closed for a year because what I've done is I've made, apparently, some sort of agreement with my body that, okay, listen, you don't have to stop wanting the eyes to close, but can I at least, I'll keep one open while I'm driving. Can we do that? I'll keep one open while I'm driving, and that way we won't crash and die. Because honestly, this is not good. Because I drive on the freeway for 40, 45 minutes at a time, getting to and from work with my eyes wanting to close. And it's not like when I have one closed, the other one doesn't want to close. It still wants to close. But I have the energy, the muscle power of two eyes, trying to keep it open because the one eye is just closed. So that one is relaxing and giving its ocular muscularity to the other one, which tries desperately to remain open. Again, it's not a sleepy. I don't think it's a sleepiness thing. Yet what else could it be? I've Googled my eyes want to shut while I'm driving. What the F is going on? And I get nothing. But I was getting in my car in the morning after 2 cups of coffee and 70 milligrams of Vyvanse, which is a decent dose of a stimulant, and still it was happening. I would drink copious amounts of Diet Coke before I left work because I knew I had to drive home. Didn't matter, didn't make a difference. So I talked to my psychiatrist. You know I'm on meds, right? This should not be shocking to you. I've been cagey about the meds. We're gonna talk about my brain a little later on in great detail. Trust me. But I definitely have a psychiatrist who definitely has been giving me medication for many years now. And one of the medications is that Vyvanse thing, and we hadn't made any changes or anything. So I said to her, hey, listen, I'm having this thing where my eyes want to close while I'm driving. She had never heard of that. But she said, well, you should definitely have a sleep study, to which I replied, yeah, I guess so. I had one before. It was inconclusive. Remember when I had one before? It was like 6 years ago. And they said, oh, yeah, you have idiopathic hypersomnia. And I said, really? That's great. What's idiopathic hypersomnia? And they said, well, you're tired for no reason. But she thought I should have a sleep study, at the very least to rule it out. And so she recommended me to a very reputable sleep doctor in Beverly Hills. Okay, well, okay. So I contact the sleep doctor. And no, I make an appointment. So one day I took a day off and I got a physical in the crack of dawn and, blood work and up the prostate exam, the whole thing. And then like 2 hours later, I went and met with a sleep doctor. And so we're sitting there and he's a very serious guy. And he says, "Hey, so, what brings you in?" And I said, "Well, listen, I'm tired. There's a couple things. Number one, I am tired all the time, especially on the weekends. All I want to do is take a nap. It's ruining everything. I feel like I'm getting enough sleep, but it's not working. And then there's this little thing where when I drive, my eyes want to shut." And he goes, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, when I drive, my eyes want to shut. Have you ever heard of that at all, doctor? Because it doesn't, I've fallen asleep at the wheel before when I was sleepy. And that has a certain feeling to it. It has a feeling, of falling asleep. This is not part of that. This is a different thing where my eyes want to close." And he says, "Well, your eyes are tired?" And I say, "Yeah, they get tired from fighting the fact that they want to close. So they want to close. My brain wants them open because my brain is driving. But I do get very tired from driving when I have to fight my eyes all the time." So he's taking notes. And he says, "Well, listen, I hate to tell you this." And I'm thinking, oh God, he knows what this is, and it's horrible. It's some sort of brain tumor or something. And he goes, "Listen, I hate to tell you this, but I have to report this to the DMV. I have to tell the DMV that when you drive, your eyes want to close. So should we schedule a sleep study?" I'm like, "Yeah, because now you've told right now it's a ticking time bomb that not only might I die, but I pretty much could lose my license if I get pulled over." And they're like, "Hey, wait, your eyes close when you're trying to drive? Like, you should not be driving." Now, listen, I'm an old man, but I'm not that old a man. I should not be losing the ability to drive. But all anyone can think of, right, as a first step is to do another sleep study, which is fine. I'm totally fine with it. I'm totally fine, except the doctor, and I don't remember this being the issue last time, but the doctor says, "Well, I will want you to go off of all medication and all stimulants for 2 weeks prior to the sleep study." To which I say, "What did you just say?" Okay, hold on. Okay, wow. You want me to go off all of my medication and all my like Diet Coke and coffee, and I'm drinking a couple of Celsiuses a day, which, as it turns out, is the same caffeine level as about 4 cups of coffee and antifreeze. So he says, "Yeah, so consult with your psychiatrist to see, if that's feasible." And I'm like, "Listen, man, I'm on some stuff that I don't think I can stop because I will go crazy and drive off the freeway voluntarily. Like, this is not cool." So he says, "Well, talk to her." So I talked to her, and she says, "That's great that you're going to do the sleep study. And yeah, I suppose you could go off your Vyvanse, the stimulant. I mean, it's going to, it's going to make," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's going to make my work suck. It's going to make it horrible to get through the day without my ADHD medication. Yeah, that's going to effing suck." And she says, "Yeah, but I don't know about you going off the, whatever it is, Zoloft or whatever I'm on." I always refer to it as sertraline, I think it is. I think it's Zoloft. It's one of the, it's an antidepressant / anti-anxiety. And apparently in the past, when I've gone off of it a little bit, I go nuts, like sad, depressed, so out of my mind. I'm not suicidal. I couldn't I could never in that state get my mind together long enough to succeed at that. Like, it's not that kind of thing. It's not like I'm going to hurt myself. It's that I'm going to lose my mind. Like, literally, like, oh, this is what they mean when they say lose your mind. You mean, like, yeah, like the reins are off and the horse is just out of control. The horse that's running down a deep, deep pit of despair. So the team comes to the agreement, that's me and the two doctors and my therapist, that, yeah, okay, you can go off the Vyvanse and you can go off the Diet Coke and the Celsius and the coffee and all that other jazz, but let's keep you on the Zoloft just so we don't, lose a patient. So that's fine. Now, before we can do the sleep study, I have to do an at-home sleep apnea test. Now, my first sleep study determined that I did not have sleep apnea, even though both my parents have sleep apnea. They both have a CPAP machine and jugs of distilled water all over the house, but I don't have. No, really? Okay. So the new doctor, the Beverly Hills doctor, sends me home with a home what's it called? Sleep apnea. Thank you. Test. And apparently I did very well. I have sleep apnea. So now I have a CPAP machine and bottles of distilled water all over the house. And I got to tell you, there's nothing sexier than sleeping with headgear that looks like it's from the big TIE fighter scene in Star Wars on your face all night long. Now, my wife loves it because I basically wear a mask over my nose and mouth so I don't snore anymore. That's a plus. But everything, because it's LA and Beverly Hills, I don't know. Everything takes a long time. So, like, it took me a long time to see the sleep doctor, and then it took a long time to get the meeting to talk about the results of the at-home thing. And then we scheduled the sleepover sleep test. And he said, well, yeah, I'm going to have you do the normal sleepover sleep test, where we hook you up to all the electrodes or whatever they are all over your body, and you sleep overnight. And then we wake you up and then we have readings, right? But we're also going to do, and I should have looked it up what it's called. I always think it's called the MLS, but I think that's the listing of houses on the market. SLM? I don't know. Anyway, it's this thing in the daytime so you do the overnight study, they wake you up, and then they're like, okay, don't go to sleep for the next hour. And then we're going to come in here and then you have to go to sleep for an hour. And then we're going to let you have to be awake for then like 2 hours. And then we're going to make you go to sleep for another hour. And we're going to do that all day. Won't that be fun? Now, all the time, I'm hoping, listen, I don't care what we do. You want to do that for a week? I don't care. Just figure out why my eyes want to close when I go when I'm driving. Right? And during the period that I'm waiting for the sleep test, this whole eyeball thing migrates into some work-related situations, which is not cool, man. Now, here's the thing with my work. Or maybe you don't know, I got what I call a normal job in I don't know, man, August of 22? No, August of 21. I don't know. It's been, like I say, time is a thing for me. It's been a while. And why did I bring that up? That I have a job? Oh, that's right. Okay, so when I'm at work, there's some magical thing that happens. Now, granted, I'm riddled with anxiety often, or I was at least for the first year and a half. But really, pretty much, I just sit by myself and do work. And people talk to me every once in a while, or I have a meeting every once in a while on Teams. But it's a very controlled situation, and there's something about it. I don't for the most part, get any depression at all. My meds for ADHD work gangbusters, so I get a lot done. It's very good. I'm doing very well. I've been promoted. I've maybe got a juicy title. I can't tell. Not to get too far off on this tangent. So what happened was, I started working there and I was a content specialist or something like that. And then my boss left and they realized they realized I was doing a lot of work. I'll just put it that way. So they made me marketing manager, which is fantastic. It sounds impressive to me, right? I don't know. So then there was a reduction in force, which is a fancy way of saying they fired a bunch of people. So the company got smaller, and some of the people they fired or let go, reduced, made redundant, were overseas. Were in England and who knows where else, but they were all, China, whatever. So basically, I'm the only marketing person in the entire organization globally, except for my boss, but he's also in charge of so many other things that I'm the marketing department. So a couple of months ago, I said to him, hey, dude, can I be called the global marketing manager? Doesn't that have a nice ring to it? And he's like, yeah, totally. And I said, that would be great. He says, yeah, I have no problem with it, but I got to run it up the flagpole. So he ran it up the flagpole, and then somebody up the flagpole said, well, listen, we don't just call people global anything without some sort of hesitation and paperwork and justification and blah, 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 blah. So apparently I have to make a presentation proving to them that because I'm the only person globally that does any marketing whatsoever, that I should be called the global like who, if there's a European marketing manager or an Asian marketing manager, I need to get them in a meeting because I am doing all their work. Right? Because really, by you calling me marketing manager, that means North America. And I got news for you. I didn't get in a meeting at 5 a.m. last Wednesday because of the North American market. I had to meet with a dude in effing Spain. Okay, so basically I'm functioning well at work, as long as we don't rock the boat. And I don't want to rock the boat, but I do have to have this sleep study because my life is literally in jeopardy at least twice a day, every day of the work week, and then a couple of times on the weekends. Because it's gotten to the point now where, and again, I don't think it's sleep really, because now it happens the moment I start driving the car. It's not like 10 minutes later, like, oh, you're getting... No, it's literally before I get to the end of my block. My eyes are like, let's go. Oh, and that's what I was saying is, though, it has started to creep into work things where I was in a meeting off-site with a customer where I was supposed to be interviewing them, and my eyes are like, F this. It's time to close. And I'm like, no, it's not. We got to ask this guy how he likes the new fume extractor. And the eyes are like, nah. I mean, you can ask him. You just can't look at him. So I tell my therapist this. I tell my daughter, I tell a bunch of people this, and the reaction of a lot of people is, yeah, it does sound like maybe it has something to do with some sort of anxiety. And I'm like, yeah, I agree, except I do not experience any anxiety about driving to the end of the block. I've been driving from our driveway to the end of that block since the year 2000. I've got it down. Like I'm literally... That is the least anxious I could possibly be, is driving to the end of our block. Why do my eyes want to close? So because I was really, really, really a heavy caffeine user, I put off quitting caffeine until the last minute before the 2 weeks started, before the study. Hold on, I gotta make sure I'm still recording. I'm just like blathering away and my computer's asleep, or the screen is asleep. Are we still recording? Yeah, okay, good. Thank God. Jesus, can you imagine? So I wait till T-0 to stop drinking caffeine. And so on whatever day that was, I think it was a Saturday, I didn't drink any coffee. I didn't take my Vyvanse. I didn't drink, like, no more Celsius, no more Diet, nothing. So let's assume that's Saturday. So I feel pretty bad on Saturday, just sort of generally, because I'm expecting to be super tired. And apparently there are other symptoms like crankiness, right, from caffeine withdrawal. You can apparently feel achy, right? Okay. Again, not a problem. In fact, I'm kind of looking forward. I'm kind of using the sleep study as an excuse to get off of the caffeine because I'm not an idiot. I know I'm drinking too much caffeine. Because I would literally, 2 cups of coffee in the morning, a Diet Coke at lunch, maybe another one, and then after that, maybe a Celsius. It's to the point I was so used to drinking caffeine. I could drink caffeine. I could drink a Diet Coke at 9 at night and be asleep at 10. No problem. So I stopped everything on Saturday. I felt kind of tired and crappy, a little out of it. Sunday, same thing. By Monday, my brain went, hey, listen, are you really serious about this no caffeine thing? Because what we're going to do, if you're not going to send any more caffeine this way, we're going to react as we would if you were off your Zoloft. So we are going to give you a pit of despair, and we're going to throw you in it. So yeah, I lose from stopping caffeine in the Vyvanse. I lose it. I can barely function. Now, apparently I'm a better actor than I thought because I don't think anyone at work was aware of the fact that I'd lost my effing mind. That there was a good half a week in there where I was like, I'm going to go hide in my car during lunch. No, it got so bad that it got bad. Like, I start having weird ideas about, maybe I should just shut my eyes right now. You know what I mean? Like, not cool. And it was when I started having ideas of self-destruction while I was driving. I was like, you know what? I think I might want to reconsider this whole thing and have a Diet Coke. Because Melissa, I think I talked to Melissa about it, and she was like, yeah, you should probably change your appointment and have a Diet Coke. And I think even my therapist will like, yeah, you could probably change it. I'm like, but I don't want to change. I'm looking forward to this sleep study. I don't want to do that. So I contact my psychiatrist. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm off all the caffeine and everything and my Vyvanse medication. Is there any chance that Vyvanse was giving me some sort of antidepressant kickback of any kind? Because I'm still on my Zoloft and it's a pretty healthy dose, but I got to tell you, I really have no will to live whatsoever. So the team agreed and I acquiesced and I had some Diet Coke. After I called the doctor's office and put the sleep study back for 3 weeks or whatever it ended up being, a month. Now, while this is all going on, speaking of work, there's an upcoming trade show that we're going to go to. We're going to have a booth where all the sales guys are going to be there. all our products are going to be there. People are going to come. We got to do that. And Dan apparently is going to manage that too, because there's not a channel marketing guy anymore because he left and was never replaced. So now I do trade shows apparently too. And originally, the schedule was, listen, you're going to be off your medication leading up to the trade show, but then by the time the trade show comes, you'll be back on everything. You'll be firing on all pistons. It'll be great. And now, because I've pushed it back a couple weeks, the sleep study is now immediately after the trade show, which means leading up to the trade show, when I'm responsible for everything, I'm going to be on nothing. It's okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. My eyes close when I drive around. I've got to do the sleep. I've got to do it as soon as I can. I don't want to, we've just got to do it. I've got to taper off. So I did. I made a schedule, right? I talked to my psychiatrist. She gave me special, take 2 for a week and then take 1 for a week and then you're done, you'll taper off. So we tapered that off. I tapered off the Diet Coke. I stopped drinking Celsius altogether because that stuff's poison. And I mumbled through, I fumbled through, I made it through. The trade show went off pretty much without a hitch, considering the massive undertaking it was for a bunch of people that really only do that sort of thing once a year these days. So finally, the sleep study comes. And there's literally nothing to tell you about the sleep study. It was exactly what you would expect. They put a bunch of sticky things on me that had wires coming out. I went to bed. I slept completely normally, which means I woke up once in the middle of the night. I went back to sleep fairly quickly. And then they woke me up at 6 and I was like, oh yeah, okay, that worked, because I was worried. When you're in a strange place, sometimes you can't fall asleep. No, it was perfectly fine. I was like, great, this is great. They're going to get accurate results. The results they get are going to be indicative of whatever's going on. This is perfect. It wasn't an unusual night's sleep. This is great. And then they had me do the daytime thing where I'm up for a couple hours and then sleep for an hour, up for a couple hours, sleep. We do that all day. I surf the internet or I do some work between things. Oh, because also at the same time as the trade show, I'm also in charge of launching our company on Amazon in the UK. That's all. Just a tiny little project of getting 600 products listed in the Amazon store in the United Kingdom. A good 6-month project that's coming to fruition right during the point when I'm not on anything to help me focus. Okay. So the sleep study happens, right? I have an appointment to speak with the doctor probably a month later because, again, everything takes a long time. So we have the big meeting. I was so excited. I may have even taken the day off work. I had some sort of conflict or something earlier in the day, and then I was going to have I was like, F it, I'm going to take the day off. I am so excited for this sleep doctor meeting, and we're finally going to figure out what's going on, and then we can attack it, and I can drive around with my eyes open like a normal human. So he says, okay, Dan, so I've got the results right here, and I have good news. I'm like, great. Good news. And he says, yes, I have good news. You don't have narcolepsy. And I'm like, okay. I guess that's good news. And they're like, yes, of course that's good news. You don't want to have narcolepsy. And I'm like, yeah, well, but if I had narcolepsy, we could treat my narcolepsy. See where I'm going with that? And he's like, yeah, but you trust me, you don't want narcolepsy because, yeah. So I say, okay, well, what else is going on? And he said, well, you wore a CPAP for the test and it seems to be doing a good job of whatever it's supposed to do with your sleep apnea. I'm like, great. So I should keep using it? Yes, keep using your one at home. Great. Okay, what else? What are we going to do so I can drive around without being in fear of dying? And he says, well, and we also noticed you have some leg movements in the night. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't need to go off of Diet Coke for 2 weeks. I could have told my wife, anybody, like lots. That is, sure, of course. Of course, I have leg movements in the night. They don't bother me unless it's when I'm awake, and I call it the jitters. It might be rapid leg movement or whatever that's called. And, and he's like, other than that, you're fine. Okay, I know that's supposed to be good news. I know that I should be super happy, but, and maybe I'm rooting for the wrong team here, but so what do we do now? Because I don't have narcolepsy and right, you didn't find anything else except very, very, very mild sleep apnea. And he said, well, I mean, I guess we could try you on one of two medications that are, they're often prescribed for narcolepsy, but they promote wakefulness. But you'll have to, work with your psychiatrist to, figure out if it'll work with the other medicine that you're taking, blah, blah, blah. But here are the names, and I wrote them down. And that was it. That was it. Maybe I can go on more stimulants. Great. So I'm like, okay, you don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. You're going to be able to drive with your eyes open soon. This is still okay, even though I was kind of upset. I was upset that I didn't have narcolepsy. Okay, so I write my psychiatrist. Hey, listen, this is what the doctor said, and my legs jerk in the night, and sleep apnea, and then these two medications. I don't know what they're called, but here's the names, and yada yada. Now, of course, she's out of the country, apparently. And so doesn't get back to me for like 2 weeks, which always makes me nervous because what if I was insane? What if I was having right? Like this is not funny. You can't go out of pocket for 2 weeks, can you? Is that a thing that psychiatrists can do? So she gets back to me and said, oh, okay, well, one of these you can take with the Vyvanse and the Zoloft. Not a problem. I'll send the prescription over. I'm like, great. They send it over. My insurance approves it. I go over to the pharmacy. I pick it up and I start taking it, and it has no effect on me whatsoever. This medical grade stimulant that they give to narcoleptics to keep them from falling asleep, it has had no effect on me whatsoever. I am still as tired as always. I am still fighting my eyes while I drive, always. But now I'm on another new 100 milligrams of some other stuff coursing through my veins. It's not good, man.